The wonders of space technology still surprise many people. Whether it's its advances in travel efficiency or why cargo arrives intact, many still don't understand what can be found in the system of a cargo ship like the Dragon. While it is true that very few know its components or understand how it works properly, it must be acknowledged that we are particularly interested in certain details about the spacecraft that SpaceX has launched into space in recent days. And that interest centers on one thing: can the cargo ships carry people? How is it that the Dragon can perform such precise landings without much planning time? Is it part of a command added to its programming? Or is it something to do with its design and operation at an automatic level? Although we are not engineers and scientists to understand the terms, we can say that this is not the first spacecraft to successfully land on the International Space Station. Several loading and unloading missions have already passed through the site, and at the same time, workers on the station have verified the effectiveness of the transports launched by SpaceX. This time, however, the mission caught the attention of several media outlets for a peculiar event that was admired by many. What happened to the Dragon freighter? We'll see. As you know, SpaceX is a company that boasts of several space trips to various points in and out of the stratosphere. Thanks to their cutting-edge technology and the advances they have made in space, they are said to be the leaders so far in the race to reach other planets. Whether these people are exaggerating or not, we don't know. What we can say is that Elon Musk has done a good job of getting people to challenge their own limitations. Until a few decades ago, it was thought that travel and living on other planets was impossible. Now, with all that this and other companies have achieved, we know that life elsewhere is not only possible, but can become an alternative to the overpopulation that exists globally. SpaceX and other companies have made it possible, and over the years, we have marveled at all the things the company has achieved, thanks to the work of its team. Developing the first cargo spacecraft to carry materials and food into space, launching a group of civilians to a point near the Kármán line, reaching agreements with the United States to create the first commercial spacecraft. Yes, SpaceX has done all that and more, so we thought we'd seen a good part of what the institution had in store for us. Luckily for us, Musk's company still has the ability to surprise and scare us in equal measure. Don't believe us? Just ask the scientists and technicians who gathered at the International Space Station a few days ago. They got a surprise, not to mention the event they were a part of. I'm sure more than one guessed that the Dragon freighter was completely damaged. Luckily, it wasn't. The situation that occurred with the cargo spacecraft was as follows. Earlier this month, as the International Space Station moved over the perimeter that forms the southern fringe of the Pacific Ocean, the Dragon spacecraft was spotted near the site. At first, it did not attract the attention of most people on the base, and you continued with your work. However, when it approached the module closest to the Harmony section, some were surprised. What was wrong with that spacecraft, and why was it settling in? What was their surprise when they received the answers to their questions in the form of an automatic shutdown? For those not in the know, until that moment, many did not know that SpaceX's cargo spacecraft had been equipped with a series of commands that allowed them to hook up to the spaceports of the International Station without the need for a pilot. Several engineers were surprised by the cleanliness of the crossover, and others praised the excellent programming of the spacecraft. The curious thing about all this is that this is not the first mission SpaceX has sent to the ISS. Since the first ships dedicated to resupplying food, supplies, space parts, and more, SpaceX has tried to stay ahead of the curve in speed and efficiency. Not for nothing have they already completed 22 missions to the ISS, and by their own achievement, they will surely continue to lead more over the years. Among the missions that have lifted off for the ISS, those that have sought to implement the new solar shades of use of the iROSA station stand out. In addition, the Canadarm2 has proven to be a remarkable robotic addition when it comes to shadowing. As such, these and accessories will begin to be installed on the spacecraft, which, it has been anticipated, will be further utilized in the sorties scheduled for the 16th and 20th of this month. That speaks well of these devices within the programming of the ships, which serve to improve the efficiency and accuracy of the actions that people perform. Without a doubt, a help that many will be grateful for those human problems that are often added to the calculations. If there is one thing SpaceX excels at, it is doing an impeccable job in space engineering. We have rarely seen the company or any of its prototypes fail, and when these cases have occurred, we have seen that the corporation always stands up to continue innovating. Elon Musk has taught his employees the value of perseverance, so it's time to follow up with news of the Dragon cargo ship. As we said, although the Dragon ship leaves aside excellent execution and handling of the controls, we cannot overlook the fact that this is not the first mission that SpaceX has launched directly into space. The 21 previous missions were also a resounding success and served to deliver everything needed to the International Station. From laboratory materials, through samples, space parts, basic tools, and more, the rest of the missions came about because they were contracted for these activities. So, it could be said that NASA must be satisfied with their performance and the news they have exposed. For those interested in learning more about the launch, we can tell you that the Dragon cargo spacecraft departed from Launch Complex 39A, which is located at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Due to its size and the type of cargo it was carrying, the liftoff had to leave from that site directly to the ISS. As for the Dragon's fate, it is known that it is currently on the International Space Station, and that it was aggravated there for a full month. After that time, the cargo ship will return to Earth with other objects and data, the result of the research that has been carried out. As you can see, SpaceX and NASA have it all planned and well calculated, so now we just have to ask ourselves one question. So far, everything seems to indicate that it will. With such an appearance and deployment of its controls, it is anticipated that the arrival of the Dragon freighter could help the company with the recent problems caused by some poorly executed decisions by Elon Musk. That aside, it looks like the Dragon CRS-22 won't be returning alone, as there is another ship from the same company in the Harmony shuttle module. And in case you were wondering if we answered the question we asked at the beginning of the video, this second spacecraft, called Crew Dragon, carried 4 astronauts to the space station as of April this year. So yes, it seems that SpaceX's Dragon cargo spacecraft can not only carry items and food in their game rooms, but they can also carry several people inside. That concludes the most important part of the story. As you can see, what happened was an event that hardly anyone expected, let alone on the ISS. The insurance was scared off by the sight of such a cargo ship docking alone in one of the station's modules. The good news is that nothing bad happened, and the workers will be able to receive their equipment and supplies without any problems. Now that you know what happened to the Dragon ship, what would you do if you were in the shoes of the scientists and engineers on the station? Did they open up in panic, or did they remain calm as they investigated what happened? Leave your comments below, and feel free to add some suggestions for upcoming videos on the channel. And speaking of the channel, have you subscribed yet? Remember that if you do, you will be able to receive all this information long before the rest of the users. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Support us with your likes, and see you next time.